In the Garden of Eden, we are told there are two trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. So the tree of life is said to be associated with life, while the tree of knowledge of good and evil is associated with death, or the beginning of dying. The tree of life is said to be a tree that bears all living forms, while the tree of knowledge of good and evil is said to be more of a tree that bears fruits called knowledge, or it's a kind of a tree that bears fruits that lead people to be knowledgeable or to acquire knowledge. So the moment one is identified with this tree of knowledge, then one begins to dwell in his mental world. So one is his psychology than he is a living form. So this is a diversion from one identifying with life, because anytime you're identified with knowledge, then knowledge is just a limited realm. It's a limited realm dwelling in the brain. So the moment these two individuals by the name of Adam and Eve ate this fruit of knowledge, then they died in the sense of spiritual death. They were disconnected from life. They were distanced from the tree of life. So these two individuals are said to come to shame after the consumption of this tree of good and evil. So what does this mean? What does this imply? Because remember, any imagination is in your head. Any imagination does not have life. So anytime we substitute living for imagination world, for our mental made worlds, then we have distanced ourselves. We have substituted life, living, with mental constructs, with mental worlds. So these mental worlds are based on one identifying with the knowledge that he or she has acquired since childhood. So the things that you accumulate, the things that your senses intake, they are accumulated in your brain and are used as knowledge. So the moment you identify with knowledge, you are identifying with the dead stuff. You are identifying with the known. You are identifying with the already experienced things. So you are not living in the sense that you are not sensitive to life. You are not sensitive to the actual. So anytime one is identified with knowledge, then one is dead. One is spiritually dead. One lives in the realm of the dead. So to eat from the tree of life is to plug yourself back to the source of all life. So to identify with life is to see yourself just as another extension of that whole life that consists different branches, yet emanating from the same tree of life. So the tree of life has different leaves, has plenty of leaves, new leaves, old leaves. It continuously sheds leaves and produces new ones. So this tree of life is the whole life energy in all human beings. This is the Holy Spirit, in the sense that holiness, in the sense that of all-inclusive spirit. And the term spirit, I'm using it to mean life, that life vitality in every living thing. So that whole life vitality seen through different living things is like the same tree that manifests as diverse leaves, but each leaf emanates or emerges from the same tree of life. So we, different human beings, different living things, are different leaves emanating from the same tree. So the leaves pass, but the tree remains intact. So the tree of life has been since the first life to the last life. So the tree of life is just like the tree that has been and has witnessed the passing of different and diverse leaves, yet still remaining as the tree and continuing to give out new leaves. So the tree of life is a symbol used to point to that Holy Spirit, that holistic life energy, that holistic life vitality, life force that is in each and every living thing. So anytime you see something and you see the life in it, it might be a species you've never seen before, but as far as you can acknowledge or you can notice the life in it, then that life in it is the tree of life. That life in it is perceptible even in other diverse living things. So the tree of life is the life in each and every living thing, despite its diversity, despite its appearance. As far as you can notice the life in it, as far as you can see something and see this thing is alive, as far as you can see an insect and see this insect is alive, as far as you can see a fly or a bee or any species that's alive and notice the life in it, So that which you call life, that which you notice as life, even in species that you've seen in the first time. So that vitality, that life force is the tree of life. That tree of life manifests different leaves, manifests diverse living forms, yet remaining the same life. Life has never changed since the first life to the last life. There's a reason the first life is considered as life. There's a reason why the life of the present moment is considered as life. And there's a reason why the trees and the plants and the insects of the future will be considered or be seen to possess that vitality called life essence. So the tree of life points to that holistic life that extends through different living forms, just as a tree extends through different leaves, yet remaining the same tree holding all leaves. So when one is identified with the form, then one is identified with a kind of one leaf. But when one is identified with the whole tree, then one is that tree of life. Then the tree of knowledge is a tree that bears byproducts of memory. So the tree of knowledge is more of mental world. It's more of a world of memory, a world of knowledge. So this world of knowledge exists only in individuals' brains. So a human being is the only species that has this ability to use knowledge or to act from knowledge. So this action would be said to be a fruit of knowledge or born from knowledge. So the tree of life and the tree of knowledge are just symbols pointing to two forces that control this world. The force of life, which is seen in each and every living thing since the first to the last living thing, and the knowledge, which is mostly seen in human beings. These are the things that we create through imaginations, through memories, through learning, through skilling. All these are fruits of knowledge. All these are fruits of that record that we utilize in the sense of mathematics, in the sense of science, in the sense of a skill learned and recorded in the brain and utilized to act. So that action emanates from knowledge. And so you are eating the fruits of knowledge. You are eating the fruit of knowledge when you eat from the recorded data in your brain, in your cerebrum. But when you identify yourself with life, then you are the life that enables each and every brain to function. You are the life that makes every human being breathe, heartbeat, have blood flowing even while asleep. So the tree of life continues even when you are asleep, while the fruit of knowledge can only be enjoyed while one is awake and while one is able to reason or to think or to utilize knowledge. So these two forces or these two facts have been with us since the ancient days. Humans have been identifying with that whole life force, which is the tree of life. These were considered as sages, these were considered as mystics, these were considered as wise individuals or as sages, while the individuals who have been benefiting from the tree of knowledge have been identified with careers, ways of life, traditions. The people who served these forces were eating from the fruit of knowledge, were eating from that which exists in their brains or that which they have acquired and stored it in their brain for future use. So the tree of life is to be lifeful, is kind of uzima, life in its complete degree, while the tree of knowledge is any action that emanates from knowledge or from that which is stored in the brain, from a byproduct of that which was recorded and utilized to solve future issues or future problems. So those are just symbols used to point to the two forces that govern this realm that we live in, especially the human realm loves to eat from the tree of knowledge. Until next time, peace.